I am the DA in Monroe County.
I understand
Yes,
that, but that doesn't give you a right to go 55 and a 35. And you even admitted to me that you went 50. I understand that, ma'am. I understand that.
You know what? If you give me a traffic ticket, that's fine. I'm the one who prosecutes it, okay? Just go ahead and do it, okay?
I have the right to detain you until this is done.
Then just write me the fucking ticket. I really don't care.
Well, then just hang out at the back of the car.
Because I'm the one that's going to prosecute myself. You know what I'll do with the ticket?
I find it interesting that she was written up for only the speeding, which I assume is a lower offense than refusing to stop for an officer, because as the officer stated, he could have arrested her for refusing to stop. The old adage, rank has its privileges, applies here. So now what happens? Sandy is on tape admitting she chose to not stop and used her position to call the chief. Kudos to the officer who reminded her of the law. Now what? It's obvious she was denying, diverting, and delaying to avoid a breathalyzer. It worked. She should resign or be removed from office. Why is this not a felony charge for her like it would be for any regular person? Also, I want to know if she was under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Only ticketed for speeding? She also eluded the officer, which is the arrestable offense as he said, and she also did not follow any of the officer's commands. Like to see us average folk doing this, we would have been pulled from the garage and arrested. This is why most don't trust the police. This is beyond troubling. It's pathetic. If someone eluded the police and failed to stop, I have no doubt there would have been multiple police cars summoned, and a huge deal would have been made out of this. Why should the same not apply to the DA? In fact, she should know better. I'm utterly and thoroughly disgusted. The incident happened on April 22, 2024 in New York. Officer Chris from the Webster Police Department was on patrol when he saw a car going 55 mph in a 35 mph zone. He signaled for the driver to pull over, but the driver ignored him and drove straight home. Officer Chris decided to go to the house to give a ticket. Here's what happened next.
Sorry, I'm the DA. I was going 55 coming home from work.
55 and a 35.
I don't live here.
Okay.
So you can call Dennis.
Can you please come over here? This is on a traffic stop, ma'am.
Yes, it is. You can call Dennis Kohlmeyer right now.
Okay, I'm telling you why I stopped you. You didn't stop at all. Did you not hear my lights or sirens or anything?
No, I didn't actually. I was on the phone.
Okay, well, you're not supposed to be on the phone while you're driving either.
Yes, I am with the hands-free. Absolutely.
Okay.
According to the info, the woman was Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Dorley. As soon as she saw the officer at her house, she quickly called Webster Police Chief Dennis.
Why are you so upset at me? I'm doing my job. You just admitted to me that you were going 55 and a 35 on Phillips Road.
Can you please tell him to leave me alone?
Good. Ma'am, can you please stay at the back? This is a legal traffic stop. Can you please stay over here?
No.
And parked in her garage. And now she's not complying with any of my commands. Ma'am, do not go inside.
Oh my God!
Yep. All right. Ma'am, come outside. You can't just go inside. This is a traffic stop. Here's your phone back.
I understand the law better than you. Would you just
953. Can you have a supervisor come to the scene?
No. Get out of my house.
After talking to the police chief, the DA was still pretty upset. She even tried to use her position to threaten the officer on the spot.
I just don't understand the hostility towards me. I'm doing my job. How am I being an asshole?
I am the DA in Monroe County.
I understand that, but that doesn't give you a right to go 55 and a 35.
The prosecutor even showed some paperwork to prove who he really was.
You know what? If you give me a traffic ticket, that's fine. I'm the one who prosecutes it, okay? Just go ahead and do it. Go ahead.
The situation kept getting worse. The DA told Officer Chris that she wasn't a kid and then started talking to her dog, acting like she didn't care about what was going on.
You can just go and actually add it. You don't have to use the air. At the end of the day, I was just making a traffic stop, doing my job, what I was supposed to do.
Well, fine. Thank you.
Okay? So now, supervisor's on his way, and then we'll go from there.
Supervisor's coming out here.
Huh?
Who?
Sergeant Johnson. I understand you had it. Like, I get it. We all have bad days at work.
And I'm gonna go in the house. Seriously, this is ridiculous.
No, this is a traffic stop, and you, out of everyone, should know that if there's a legal traffic stop, which I have.
Right after that, a few more officers were sent to DA Dorley's house to talk to her. The DA still refused to cooperate and kept calling the police chief to complain about the officers bothering her. Then, another supervisor from the Webster Police Department, Inspector Jest, showed up. From the way he affectionately called her dog, it seemed like he and DA Dorley were pretty close. Their conversation made it clear that the police chief sent Inspector Jest to help the DA avoid more trouble.
So I attempted to stop her on Phillips Road.
Going 55, no 35. Didn't see the plate, I was just keeping an eye on the vehicle. That's because she wasn't stopping. Drove all the way here, pulled into her garage, got out, was just being aggressive towards me for no reason. I was being respectful. Telling her it was a legal traffic stop, come to the back of the vehicle, no. And she called chief, and that's why I requested supervisor. And now she wanted to go inside, told her no, you can't go inside, and this is where we're at, so.
After figuring out the situation, Inspector Jest went in to talk to the DA while another officer stepped outside. Since Inspector Jest didn't have a body camera, their conversation wasn't recorded or released. About 2 minutes later, another officer came back into the garage.
1013. I'll be stepping out at 293 Taft Ave on this. Check for my missing person.
Assumed that when I pulled in that
After talking for a while, Inspector Jest finally wrapped up his conversation with the DA. He walked out of the garage and over to Officer Chris, telling him that he wouldn't interfere with his job. You can tell Officer Chris felt a bit pressured talking to Inspector Jest. If you listen closely, you can hear his voice sounding a bit defeated and weaker, but even so, he didn't forget his duty. In the end, DA Monroe Sandra Dorley had to take the ticket that day. Ms. Dorley's behavior in the video has been criticized both by the public online and the residents of Monroe County, who reportedly protested outside of her office on Monday and called for her resignation, the Democrat and Chronicle reports. This incident caused a huge uproar and made a lot of people really angry. There were hundreds, even thousands, of comments expressing outrage at DA Monroe Sandra Dorley for abusing her power to find a loophole. She believes she's above the law. She clearly used her position as DA by her actions of flashing her badge, calling her chief supervisor, and handing her phone to officer to explain the stop, cursing at the officer and not following commands, and then saying she will be prosecuting herself, so just hand her a ticket. The officer also took her position into consideration by not throwing her to the ground and arresting her for disobeying traffic stop commands and only giving her just a speeding ticket, which would not be the case had it been any one of us. Well, next time I get stopped for speeding, I'm gonna head home and see what the cop does. How is this acceptable to anyone? Just saying, Sandra. This had nothing to do with the stop being legit or getting sick. She literally said she didn't want to. This is so wrong. Is the Webster Police dept? About to become like the Grease PD of a few years ago. Sadly, the officer who tried to do the correct thing ended up doing the wrong thing because of who she is. This is really bugging me. She gave Lovely a plea deal as long as she resigned. That was totally political. Sandy needs to resign. Safety of the community, respect for law enforcement, not being above the law. What a joke. Love the polite bias in the article, as if everyone can't also watch the video. She was an entitled jerk who used her position as a threat and excuse. Anyone else would have been arrested. Why did they not arrest her and take her in cuffs for fleeing the law? She's so criminal it disgusts me. She's probably at home trying to find a way to spin this. Thank you, Webster Police, for releasing the body cam video. It proves you don't want to become like the Grease Police dept was not too long ago. My God, the stress in his voice when he handed her the ticket. I could feel the adrenaline. He was very obviously told to handle things differently than he believed he should. It didn't stop there. According to the newspaper, the Monroe County Office of Public Integrity started an ethics investigation into DA Dorley. Besides that, some people think DA Dorley's actions were totally unreasonable. Time to resign, Sandra. If you had nothing to hide, you would have stopped when the lights go on, like we all have too. Kinda dumb? Why not stop and get a ticket, unless hubris kicked in? The cover-up is always worse than the crime. This woman needs to be fired, placed in jail for fleeing. Dorley? What sort of name is that? Definitely fire her. She needs to be fired. She thinks she's above the law and can get away with anything. She just showed how she abused her power. If she broke the law by running from the police, why was she not arrested? Ridiculous. I would have been arrested on the spot in my garage. She should be fired. This woman just admitted multiple times on camera that she will use her power to dismiss this ticket despite it being rightfully issued. How is she being asked to resign and not fired for corruption? 20 miles over the speed limit and acting like the officer is in the wrong. She needs to lose her job. Now. She needs to be fired. I'm still tired of these people in office. Who else is wondering how many lives this arrogant woman with her entitled attitude has she destroyed? Saying, "I am the DA," says it all. Admitting to corruption on camera is the dumbest thing I have seen today. I would have just arrested her. This is absolutely unacceptable. To call yourself a public servant, prosecute people for crimes, but disobey the law yourself? Despicable. She's corrupt and should be fired. As an attorney, I'm repulsed by this DA's arrogance and condescending attitude. She should have been arrested for not stopping. Nobody is above the law. Why isn't she put in handcuffs and taken to jail? Disgusting. I am the DA. I'm the one who's going to prosecute myself, and you know what I'm going to do with that ticket. She needs to be fired. The investigation will start right away, said Jansen McNair, the director of OPI and head of the county's ethics board. We'll report our thorough findings and recommendations to the right authorities and share them with the public through a press release. After the first video went viral, Dorley put out a 30-second apology video, taking responsibility for what happened. At the same time, tons of people praised the young officer for their bravery and strong commitment to justice and their role as a law enforcement officer. 4 people there and only one had integrity. Well done, officer. That police supervisor was gutless and left his officer hanging out to dry. That DA is a classic example of what's wrong with the legal system. She's an entitled bully who needs to be removed from office. Bravo to the police officer for doing his job. She is so conceited and on such a power trip, it's ridiculous. So rude and disrespectful, just a terrible human being. Cop did a great job, very professional, and kept his cool. Any other citizen would have been on the floor handcuffed with 2 cops on top. Abuse of power. Give that police officer a raise for having to deal with this awful woman. That cop loves saying, "at the end of the day." She claimed she had no idea he was pulling her over, then admitted to being on the phone with the chief, asking why someone would be pulling her over. It's suspect that the audio cut off towards the end. Prosecute her, suspend her license, and remove her from office. She's a danger to that community. Why no taser, no handcuffs, no resisting charges? It's her smile at the end when he hands her the ticket, for me. It said she knew she can do whatever she wants and is not held to the same standard as the rest of us. She needs to be fired. Here's a quote from DA Dorley's apology video. What do you think about what the officers did in this situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss any future videos. See you next time.